people, welcome to another jolly fucking spiffing episode of Stace and Barry in the morning. Stace and Barry in the morning, drinking coffee and talking about stuff. That's not our caption. I just made it up on the spot and it was bad and I regret it. Sorry. I'm the Stace half of Stace and Barry, and over there is the beautiful Barry half. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, sister from another mother. And good morning, listeners. Tis me, Bartholomew Ignatius Nuge, or Bin for short.
Oh no! Do you know what? My initials now almost spell smut. Since I got married into the Taylor family, it's just a fun Stace fact for you.
Okay. Is it though?
Is it though? I don't know. Don't know that it is. And my sister-in-law is slut, so you know.
Okay. Just leaning into that.
What an intro! What a cracking it! What brilliant bants I'm bringing to the table.
Possibly the best intro we've ever done.
Breakfast table bants. That's what that was.
You got me, breakfast bin.
Oh no, breakfast Barry works though.
Yeah.
I don't know what I am like. Nothing good breakfasty rhymes with Stace really, or like alliterates with Stace.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Also, breakfast Barry is not to be confused with wedding Barry, which is a whole different Barry, according to my wife.
What, wedding breakfast Barry or just wedding Barry?
No, just wedding Barry. Because normally I'm quite, by default, I'm quite antisocial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a lot of time for people. That's just how I roll.
Yeah.
I'm like Will Smith in I Am Legend, but without the dog.
Right. Just with two feral cats.
Yeah. Yeah, just me walking about going, yeah, don't like people. Oh, well. So, all the humans are dead. Oh, well. So,
I've had worse days.
Yeah, I've had worse days. It's a Wednesday, isn't it? But apparently, when I go to with a wedding, suddenly, because I'm with strangers, I suddenly become very, very, very friendly and sociable, much like convention Barry.
Oh, I would like to see wedding Barry. Wedding Stacey is like, except for at my own wedding Stacey is usually like, where's the bar?
That's pretty much the same as wedding Barry.
Because if I've not got at least a base level of booze courage, then I'm not talking to anybody. Especially if it's a wedding where like I only know one other person.
Unless I've got a base level of alcohol.
I've got to have like a base booze buzz. That's what I'm
trying to make yourself sound all scientific. Well, I must have a base level of alcohol before.
Somebody told me the other day that I talk too fancy, and I was like, I don't know what that means. I think it's because I said nincompoop, and I was like, that's not. I was like, look, just because I'm not monosyllabic doesn't mean that I'm fancy. I feel like I'm the opposite. I think if people met me like in person, they'd be like, oh yeah, she's not fancy. Lord. Yeah.
I've met you, and you always remind me of someone who should have walked off the set of Mary Poppins.
Okay.
That's probably more me. That's probably more me.
I hope that's.
It was a compliment.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah.
In my mind, we're both on the set of Mary Poppins. I'm doing a more Cockney, oi, how you going, mate, and dancing about with a chimney sweep,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like calling people nincompoops and getting the bin.
I do like calling people nincompoops. It's fun to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a musical.
Should we do a little tasty segment?
Tasty segment time.
It's some tasty segment trumpet. I don't know which segment we're doing.
Pick of the fortnight?
Let's do a pick of the fortnight. Would you like to go first, B? Because I've talked a lot already and without really saying anything useful.
I've talked a lot and covered no bases whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay. Zero bases.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my pick of the fortnight. God, I'm trying to remember what I've been doing. My pick of the fortnight is actually a pick of the fortnight which has already been a pick of the fortnight. So this would be my pick of the quadruple night, if that's even a phrase.
I think a quadruple night is just a month, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Getting all fancy. Just fancy talk.
I don't think month is fancy talk. You nincompoop. Rapscallion.
Yeah. I like that. I love that phrase, rapscallion. Yes. So a little while ago, I talked about a webcomic called Lavender Jack that I'd started. Do you remember?
I think it was only last episode.
Yes. Well, yeah, but I've now finished it. Oh yeah, but the last episode was like 3 weeks ago.
That's true. That is true because we were crap at scheduling again.
Scheduling and all that.
We're so bad.
Hey, look, people are getting this shit for free. They should just be grateful we rock up.
Well, I don't know if grateful's the right word.
Yeah, okay. People should just be okay. Feel somewhat
People should
ambivalent
just
that
fucking
we
deal with it.
Yeah, just live with it, or not. Yeah, but I wanted to the reason why I've picked this again is one, I have finished it, and obviously I should remind people this was it's 124 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Is Webtoon, so that should give you some idea of how much I liked it by the fact that I just kept reading it, and that Dave was the person who recommended it to me, and Dave is still on season 2. Sucker.
Slowpoke.
Yeah. But the main reason what I say is that anyone who knows me knows that like my go-to genre is pulp adventure. Like I live and breathe that shit. So when I say this statement, people who know me will understand. This is the best pulp adventure comic I have ever read. Wow,
that is high praise.
I adore this comic. Like, it's that thing, we were talking, and sometimes we talk about off air, like, every so often you kind of, you drift away from comics because you get confused. There's so many comics out there, you don't know what to read, or, life gets in the way, blah, blah, blah. And then for me anyway, every so often a comic comes along and suddenly with like blazing clarity, I'm reminded of like why I still read comics and why I love comics. And that's what this comic did for me. I'm gutted that it's over now.
Yeah,
but
that is the problem when you're like catching up with something. That you're just like, oh no, I've finished. It's the end.
I know. What more? Oh, no, it's finished. And it only finished December last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I loved it. The world building is great. There's so many spin-offs that they could do from this comic. I really hope they do more of these characters. I don't know if they will or not. The one thing that I'm really, really hoping is that they find a way to bring this out in print as some sort of glorious hardback, because I would spend an obscene amount of money to have that.
Do you know, that is the one thing that sort of worries me about like web comics and stuff, because I'm like, what happens when the person who created it just stops paying for that website space anymore? Because I want it.
Yeah. Well, this is on the site. It's on the webtoons.com is where you can get it.
Okay.
But yeah, I love it. And weirdly, it's probably I've read some web comics in the past and stuff, but I've never read a web comic this long before. Yeah. And it just worked, and the formatting on my phone was just great, and it just meant I could just pick up, read an issue, stick it down again, and it was as close to perfect for me as you could get. It didn't put a foot wrong as far as I was concerned. The art was glorious, the story is really good, the characters are brilliant. Even the little aside episodes where it's just the main creator, who's a guy called Dan Ciccardi, does a little Q&A. But even when he does the Q&A, it's done in the form of a comic.
Oh, nice.
It's just that's what I mean. It's just the attention to detail is great. And I think what it shows, what I took away from it as a fellow creative, albeit in a different medium, is that, you can just, you can do something which is amazing that just may not become the all-encompassing thing you think it's going to be. But that doesn't mean to say it's not a fantastic piece of work.
Yeah.
Because I'd never heard of this, and given the fact that this is my genre, you thought I would have done, but I'd never heard of it, and it just started, I think, back in 2018.
Oh wow!
And if it hadn't been for Dave, I never would have heard of it. So, but yeah, Lavender Jack, webtoons.com. Put your eyes on it because it's glorious.
Excellent. That's a good pick of the fortnight.
Thanks.
I think my pick of the fortnight is going to be one that pretty much everybody is going to be expecting. It's The Last of Us, the TV show.
Oh, I wasn't
have you?
expecting it.
Oh, okay. Have you plonked your eyes upon it yet, sir?
No, for two reasons.
Okay.
One, I'm in a space where I just can't do post-apocalyptic stuff at the moment. If I see another thing with the Statue of Liberty, like, you know, on its side,
covered in grass.
Yeah, I can't. I just couldn't. And two, I actually remember I bought the game, played maybe the first hour of it, scared the absolute bejesus out of me, and I had to return. And genuinely, I never played the game again.
I think that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, I know I'll get emails. No, I'll give it another go. It's not that I wasn't enjoyment's probably the wrong word. It's not that I didn't think it was an amazing game. I mean, the opening sequence in that game was probably one of the best opening sequences in the game. However, the minute them fucking clicker things come in and be like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, so Rich has the game, but I've only ever seen him play that opening sequence, which I actually lost my fucking gosh darn mind at. I was adamant he'd done something wrong because I was like, this can't be the outcome of the first 10 minutes of the game. I'm trying really hard to dance around spoilers here because I don't want to ruin it for people.
Yeah.
But I was literally like, this, you've got to have done so. And he was like, Stace, no, this is where the game is leading. But I'm like, no, you've got to have fucked this. This can't be right. I was like losing my actual mind. But then other than that, I only ever saw him play like a tiny bit. And I can't remember, it wasn't the clickers, it was something else. I feel like, I can't remember what he said they were called, but it was something where you had to be like well stealthy, otherwise it would be upon you in an instant. And I was like, I've noped out of this. Yeah. I am frightened. So I've not seen an awful lot of the game, so I can't honestly say whether or not it's a good adaptation. But what I can say is it's a really fucking good TV show in its own right. Pedro Pascal can do no wrong in my eyes, she says, hoping that nothing terrible ever comes out about him like every other man that I ever go, I love this guy, and then 2 weeks later he's in the news for some awful reason. But hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, touch wood, seems like a nice man. But he's absolutely wonderful in it. Just like properly, like, you know how when you want to follow like a character and the character itself needs to be good, but also you need to feel like you genuinely care about this man and what he's up to. And that's like instantly in this show, it's like, oh, I need to follow this man and his story. I need to know what's happening. And it looks gorgeous. Like the effects and stuff sort of remind me a bit of Annihilation.
Okay.
It's very sort of like natural horror, like it's all like fungus and growths and it's icky. Yeah, but it's kind of also sort of beautiful. I watched episode 2 last night. The first episode, I sort of felt like it could have been broken into 2 because they did like an hour and a half, like first episode. And I feel like there was a real good stopping point in the middle there that you could have broken it into 2 separate episodes. But that's just me being a bit finicky about the fact that I wasn't anticipating having to sit there for an hour and a half and watch it because I thought I was watching a TV show, not a film.
Yeah.
It's weird the way my brain works. If I'd have sat down thinking this is feature length, I think I'd have been fine. But Rich was like, oh, I'm going to put on The Last of Us. And I had no idea it was an hour and a half. And like an hour in, I was like, when does this end? Because my brain was like, I need a wee, I want a cup of tea. I'd sort of planned thinking this was going to be like 50 minutes
for long. An hour.
Yeah. But like, I think if you go into it knowing, then it'll be a bit more sensible. And there is a really good break-off point that I think if we'd have like paused it there and I'd have gone off and had a wee and made myself a cuppa, it would have been great. But episode 2 was where like the main sort of thrust of the story starts. And that was much more sort of like, yeah, like in my wheelhouse. I'm very excited for the rest of it. I think and also it's gone past the point of the game where I know any of it.
Right, okay.
So I'm like, ooh, tenterhooks, lads. But yeah, it's so far it's been really good. It's got like a really great score. Unfortunately, I didn't pay any attention to make any notes about who did the score, which is very rude of me, but it is very good. And I'm thoroughly, very much in just all the way in.
Yeah, I mean, I will Lido.
Well, here's the thing, right? So in terms of frights, I would say this isn't any worse than watching something like, say, Shaun of the Dead. Like the sort of weird fungus zombie things are a bit are quick, so they are a bit scary in that sort of panic-inducing sense. But I wouldn't say it's like terrifying. But I think if you're not in a post-apocalyptic mood, then yeah, maybe this isn't for you, because it's very much like, like the start of The Walking Dead, where he first like comes out of the hospital and everything's like abandoned cars everywhere and moss growing all over shit. Like that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you're not in that mood, then I would say probably best to avoid.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I think at some stage I'll check it out. But yeah, at the moment I can't.
It's not top priority.
It's not top. Yeah, end of the world stuff is just not.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult as well, because this is like a minor spoiler, but it's literally the first couple of minutes of the episode. Is that like, I didn't remember from the game, because I don't know whether it happened at the start or not, but that it's like a virus that does it. So there's like a bit of a talk show at the start where people are talking with like virologists about, the potential for pandemics and things. And I was like, ugh. That's not, don't feel great about this. But then, like, obviously when it turns into like fungus monsters, it sort of divorces itself from the real lifiness of it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, if you're not in that sort of mood, that's absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. But it's worth watching if you are in that sort of mood, I suppose. Gets the Stace seal of approval.
Cool, and that's all we need.
In it though. Let's have some more trumpets.
Do it.
Jazz. Should we do a bit of musical musing?
Let's do a bit of musical musing. Do you want to go first?
Okay, mine will be probably really quick, and possibly something that you will appreciate. I was watching the telly the other day, and an advert for the National Lottery came on, and it had a bit of music in it that I was like, oh, the Goonies. And then I went and I started listening to the entire Goonies soundtrack, because I was like, I forgot this was great. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, sort of pomp adventure music. So I've picked Fratelli Chase by Dave Grusin. I'm sorry. I looked up how to pronounce it online, and there were like 5 different ways. So I just gave up and said Grusin. I don't know. But yeah, I love the Goonies. What a film. And the Fratelli Chase song as well is the one that I associate with the Goonies, like the big sort of like trumpety, core blimey, we're having an adventure, lads. Peace. Yeah. So yeah, that's my choice. The Goonies. Have that.
Well, it seems that we're on a bit of a I'm assuming I can't remember if it just came in the 80s or not. My original pick was going to be I Still Believe from the Lost Boys soundtrack, because I love that. But it's not really a soundtrack. It's more of a song, but I love that song.
It is very good.
I still believe. So, just makes you want to dance around with no top on, playing a saxophone with a ponytail.
No, you've got to have a turtleneck on when you play a saxophone.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be my photo spread. I don't know why I'm doing a photo spread, but when I do one,
oh my God, Barry, make a charity calendar. I'd buy one.
It's just going to be me in lots of different turtlenecks.
Turtlenecks, like stroking a cat, playing a sax, swirling a whiskey. I just did a movement that looked like I was air fingering. I'm so sorry, everyone. You can see. But
I'll do one of me pointing randomly like they do in them sort of like menswear catalogues where I'm just pointing and laughing, maybe.
Or like pointing at your watch and going like, oh yeah, look at the time.
We have an explosion behind me wearing a turtleneck. I don't know. Yeah, turtleneck calendar coming soon. There won't be.
Oh, please. I want it.
I'll kickstart it. Kickstart Barry's turtleneck calendar 2024.
Honestly, if you just joke made a calendar for me for my birthday this year, ready for next year, it would be literally the best gift I've ever received. Okay.
Might be a tough sell to see, because you'd be like, yeah, contextual shot for me wearing a polo leg. Why? Because Stace wants a calendar for her birthday. Okay.
Oh dear.
Right. I don't know how we ended up here, but it's a fun place to be. Tickets. So my pick is, I don't know if I picked this before, but who cares? One of my favourite 80s films. Oh, is it 80s though? Big Trouble in Little China. Did that come out in the 80s? Was that?
Oh, do you know what? I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to say.
To the internet. Yes, 1986. Boom.
Well done. I was only one. I was only a tiny 1-year-old baby.
Great. Thanks for that. Thanks.
If it came out earlier in the year, I might not have even been one.
Great. Even better. Even better. Can I? Now you shamed me. And shamed me. No, it's too late now. I can't dial it back. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. That is lovely. Still, can't dial it back. So my pick is the Pork Chop Express.
Okay.
Which is the opening theme for Big Trouble in Little China. It's basically when he's in truck driving, and this is one of my fave 80s films. I love this film, and I love this piece of music because it's about as 80s as you can get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just John Carpenter doing his best work, or some of his best work. It works even better, I think, when you actually watch the film and you watch this piece of music with the opening credits, because you just got Kurt Russell and Jack Burton just chewing up scenery and then driving through it with his truck, then reversing and driving over the scenery again. It's awesome.
I haven't seen that film for ages because I think it's one of those ones that I worry a bit about watching now that I'm an adult. that it might be bad or potentially a little bit problematic. I don't know. Is it, or is it fine?
I mean, to be fair, it's been a while since I've seen it all the way through. It probably has elements. There probably will be problematic elements. I think I think it's pretty difficult for a lot of films of the 80s.
Yeah, to not be at least a little bit dated.
Yeah, so I think there's an element of you just got to go into it with that kind of time capsule feeling. And I think to a certain extent, I think it's different when you actually were there to watch it the first time around. I think if you were maybe coming into it cold in today's sort of climate and you've never seen it before, don't know.
Yeah.
But I still love it.
I feel like I loved it the last time I saw it, but I genuinely think it might have been about 15 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember that piece of music, so I'm going to have a listen in a bit.
Yeah.
That'll be my toilet tune for the evening.
Wow.
I'm discovering that people think it's weird that I put music on while I'm in the toilet, but I'm like, I don't want to listen to my own, movements. Anyway.
There's a podcast that you shouldn't start.
Toilet tunes.
Toilet tunes.
Taylor's toilet tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I won't. Can I just check the title of this piece of music, by the way? Because I wrote down Pork Chop Express, and then I was like, that can't be right.
No, that's right. Pork Chop Express.
Okay, good. Because I thought that sounds so wrong. I thought maybe you said portal chop, but then I was like, what does that mean? I got very confused.
It's the name of his truck.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It does. It really does. No, I mean, it does in terms of the title of the music. Okay. But I think I was thinking in my head about the fact that there's mystical stuff in that film, isn't there? So I was like, what if you did say portal? Yeah. But anyway, shut up, Stace. Good choice, B.
Thanks, Stace.
Have we got time for another segmento, or do you want to wrap it up for the day?
Let's do a quick bit of news.
Okay, here we go. Geek all about it.
Geek all about it, you nincompoop. Get your geek all about it. Right, yes. So, bit of news. I've got a bit of news. This bit of news will make you laugh because we talked about this maybe even last episode.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say, as I look at this piece of news, there's a little side bit of news which literally just says, fun promo spot for cocaine beer highlights the differences between a regular beer and a beer high on cocaine. Because this is the world we live in now.
This is the world we live in now. Yeah.
Jeez. Anyway. So, so basically what this is, hang on, get down. Yeah, so basically, it's Ryan Johnson is saying that he wants to be able to retitle the Glass Onion, and I'm guessing Knives Out, to a Benoit Blanc mystery, like we said.
Yeah, man, because that makes a lot more fucking sense.
Yeah.
Oh, people, why don't they listen to me? Oh, I suppose they do. I feel like I read somewhere that Ryan Johnson was going to do like a mystery TV show, but then now I can't find any information on it. So maybe I just dreamt it. Let me do a little search. Let me do a little search.
You do a little search.
Do a little search on the old phone.
By the way, whilst you're doing that, quick question, because I know you like the Ant-Man films, didn't you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer for the third one? Mate,
of course I have.
Looks ledge, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I don't know. Yeah, it looks. I don't know. I haven't got any more words. I'm sorry.
Obviously, I don't know.
I've lost all my fancy words. Yeah, like I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. So like it wasn't like I saw it and I thought, oh, this looks garbage. But also, like neither was I drawn in by it that much, other than naturally and by Paul Rudd's just face in general.
I suppose it's quite. I mean, I really like the look of it, but I suppose though, when you compare that, forget the second film for a second. When you compare that to like the first Ant-Man film, it's a very different tone.
Yeah. I wasn't. This is a bit of a spoiler, so I don't know if you're going to want to like maybe bleep this out as well. But I don't know if MODOK is something you can put on a screen and it not look ridiculous.
I don't think we need to bleep that out.
Mate, I lost my mind when that popped up in the trailer. I was like, what am I seeing? Because I don't know if you watched, I can't remember if you watched it or not, but they did like a MODOK like TV show, didn't they, with Patton Oswalt did the voice?
Yeah, I tried to watch it and I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, I thought it was genuinely funny, but I feel like that sort of level of like stop motion action figure-y type thing, like he makes sense in that sense. But like seeing him floating there just next to Paul Rudd, I was like, what? I was just staring at it like, are we doing this? So I'm just intrigued on that front, I think. But I don't know if it's because like I don't know a lot about Kang, I don't know a lot about MODOK, like I'm not, so I don't know whether that's what's stopping me from being too excited, because I don't know what this film is going to have in store for me really, except looking quite beautiful.
Yeah. It's quite, I mean, that's, I suppose in some ways that's something that kind of appeals to me.
Yeah.
It's because as I said, it feels epic in a way that I feel like a lot of the Marvel stuff hasn't recently, but a couple of films. That's just my take on it. Don't hate me, internet, or hate me. Yeah.
I was gonna say the internet will hate you for any old bollocks. So
it won't be once the new calendar comes out.
Then you will be the internet sweetheart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. On a sort of trailer front, it's not really news, but I want to know if you've seen the trailer for Renfield at all.
Oh yes. Yes.
Talk about batshit.
I mean, geez. I mean, that just. I had no idea it was coming out. I had no idea what it was. Then I started watching it. I had no idea what was going on, and then all of a sudden it was like, "What the heck's going on?" And then Nicolas Cage comes in, and
it's Dracula.
I'm like, what is this?
So this has only fell on my radar because Ben Schwartz is in it, and I happen to follow him on Twitter, and he's spoken a lot about it in the like when it was getting made and stuff. But funnily enough, he's not in the trailer as far as I can see, which is a bit sad. But when that trailer came on, I was like, okay, this looks like it could be interesting. And then Nick Cage just appears with those teeth and that accent, and I just like I couldn't. I just plot stuff like this looks like it could be the absolute shittest best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no halfway measures with this film.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about it, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
it's going to sound really stupid, but last year we took a day off work to go and see that Nick Cage film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And there's a strong chance we're going to take a day off to go and see Renfield. Go to the Electric Cinema, have a bit of absinthe, watch Renfield. That sounds like a day.
that sounds like a day.
Doesn't it, though?
And unless you've got a bit more news, that sounds like a perfect place to wrap up with.
I have got zero news.
There we go. There we go.
Well, that was an episode of Stace and Barry in the Morning. If you would like to get in touch with Stace and or Barry, you can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour and at Geek Syndicate. Or you can send an email to staceandbarry@gmail.com. Or you could, I don't know, post a letter to a PO box that we don't have. Or you could write messages in the snow with your wee-wee. I don't know. You know, just get inventive with it, yeah. Just be creative. Got to promote that creativity. And I'm going to shut up now. I love you all. Bye.
Bye all.
Bye, everyone. Wah, 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 wah.